What if I told you that the next 20 years could decide not just how long you live, but how well you live? Sharper, stronger, and more resilient than ever before. Longevity is earned, not given, and this truth is at the heart of living a meaningful, vibrant, and extended life. Too often, people believe that aging is something predetermined, a genetic lottery that cannot be altered. While genes certainly play a role, science has shown us again and again that the way we live, the decisions we make daily, and the consistency with which we nurture our health play a far greater role in determining how long and how well we live. To earn longevity is to embrace the idea that every action, however small, accumulates into years of energy, clarity, and independence, or alternatively into decline, disease, and fragility. It is not something handed out like a gift. It is something cultivated, something built, and something continuously shaped by the lives we choose to lead. When we talk about longevity, we are not simply referring to the number of years on a calendar. Living longer by itself is meaningless if those years are filled with weakness, pain, and dependence. What matters is extending the years of health, vitality, and joy, what scientists often call healthspan. Earning longevity means investing in this health span by treating your daily routines like a foundation. Every meal, every choice to move, every hour of sleep, and every decision to manage stress adds another brick to this structure. Over time, this creates resilience, the ability to withstand the natural wear and tear of aging without collapsing under its weight. Consider the small but powerful example of nutrition. What you eat today does not just affect how you feel after a meal. It shapes your inflammation levels, your metabolism, and even the way your cells repair themselves. Choosing real, nutrient-rich food consistently becomes a signal to your body that you are giving it what it needs to thrive. By contrast, feeding it processed, sugary, and nutrient-poor foods becomes a signal that you are neglecting it. Over decades, these choices separate those who remain sharp, strong, and mobile from those who struggle with preventable diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Longevity is not about perfection, but about patterns. And the patterns that support health are always worth the effort. Movement is another cornerstone of earned longevity. Human bodies are designed to move, not to sit in one position for hours each. When muscles are used, they remain strong. When joints are stretched, they remain flexible. When the heart is trained, it stays efficient. Regular exercise does not just sculpt the body or burn calories. It creates an internal environment where aging slows down. It improves blood circulation, enhances brain health, supports immunity, and keeps bones strong. People who move regularly do not just look younger, they biologically are younger at the cellular level. The best part is that earning this aspect of longevity does not require extreme workouts or athletic talent. It comes from consistency, from choosing daily to keep the body in motion, whether that is walking, stretching, lifting, or dancing. Sleep and recovery are often underestimated, yet they are powerful tools in the journey of earning longevity. While awake, the body spends energy, faces stress, and accumulates microscopic damage. During deep and restful sleep, the body repairs, cleanses, and regenerates. It is during these hours that the brain clears out waste products linked to memory loss and dementia. It is during sleep that muscles repair and the immune system strengthens. People who neglect sleep in the name of productivity often pay for it with shortened lifespans, while those who guard their rest as a sacred part of health earn extra years of clarity and energy. Stress management is equally critical. Chronic stress accelerates aging more than almost any other. The earlier you act, the more you can reverse, repair, and prevent age-related decline. And this truth should be a guiding force for anyone who wants to build a healthier future. Prevention is not about reacting to disease once it appears. It is about creating conditions where disease struggles to take root in the first place. The human body is incredibly adaptive, capable of healing and renewing itself when given the right support, but there is a window of opportunity where this power is strongest. Taking steps early in life or even in middle age can change the trajectory of aging entirely. It can mean the difference between facing decades of gradual decline or experiencing those same decades with energy, sharpness, and resilience. Prevention, at its core, is about choosing foresight over regret, building health before illness forces action. Acting early works because the body is not static. It is always in a state of change, responding to the environment, to nutrition, to movement, to stress, and to rest. Every cell in the body has a lifespan, and when cells renew, they can either be damaged copies of themselves or healthier versions, depending on the conditions that are given. If a person waits until disease has already developed, it becomes far more difficult to repair that accumulated damage. But if action is taken years earlier, the body is far more responsive, far more able to restore balance, and far more capable of avoiding the cascade of problems that come with unchecked aging. For example, cardiovascular disease does not appear overnight. Arteries do not suddenly become clogged at 60 or 70 years old. That process begins silently, often decades earlier, with small deposits forming inside blood vessels due to poor diet, lack of activity, and chronic inflammation. By the time it becomes a crisis, prevention is no longer possible. Only management is left. Yet studies consistently show that people who begin eating better, exercising, and reducing harmful habits in their 30s, 40s, or even 50s dramatically reduce their risk of ever facing those cardiovascular emergencies. The earlier action is taken, the more flexible and resilient the system remains, and the longer the heart can function at its best. The same is true for brain health. Conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's are not sudden strikes of bad luck. They are decades in the making. The brain begins showing microscopic changes long before memory loss becomes noticeable. Lifestyle choices such as nutrition, physical activity, mental stimulation, and sleep quality all shape whether those changes accelerate into decline or are slowed, and even reversed. Taking steps early to protect the brain, protecting your cognitive health, is just as important as maintaining physical strength, because the mind is not separate from the body, but an inseparable partner in determining how fully a person can live. The ability to think clearly, to remember, to solve problems, and to stay emotionally balanced defines the quality of life just as much as the ability to walk, lift, or run. A strong body without a healthy brain still limits independence, happiness, and the ability to thrive in later years. Cognitive decline does not just appear suddenly. It develops gradually, influenced by lifestyle choices, environmental factors, and the way the brain is used or neglected over decades. This means that the brain, like a muscle, can be trained, nourished, and protected so that it continues to serve well into older age. The brain thrives on stimulation and novelty. Just as muscles weaken when they are not used, the brain becomes less efficient when it is left idle, relying only on routine and repetition. Lifelong learning, curiosity, and challenges act as exercise for the mind, strengthening neural connections and even creating new ones through a process known as neuroplasticity. Reading, writing, solving puzzles, learning new skills, playing music, or even engaging in thoughtful conversation can all keep the brain sharp. Neuroplasticity demonstrates that the brain is adaptable. It can rewire and adjust itself at any age, but this ability must be continuously nurtured. Without such stimulation, the brain begins to shrink in both capacity and efficiency, making decline more likely. Nutrition also plays a profound role in cognitive health. The brain is made up of billions of neurons that communicate through delicate chemical signals, and the fuel provided by food directly affects how those neurons perform. Diets high in healthy fats, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals support the integrity of brain cells and protect them from oxidative stress. By contrast, diets dominated by processed foods, sugars, and unhealthy fats accelerate inflammation and damage neural pathways. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in foods like fish, nuts, and seeds, have been shown to protect brain function, while fruits and vegetables rich in antioxidants combat the oxidative stress that contributes to memory loss and cognitive decline. Choosing food that nourishes the brain is no different from choosing exercise that strengthens the body. Both are acts of investment in future health. Movement further supports cognitive resilience, proving that physical and mental health are deeply connected. Exercise does not simply strengthen muscles and improve endurance. It boosts blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that keep neurons active and healthy. Regular physical activity has been linked to improved memory, sharper focus, and lower risk of neurodegenerative diseases. So aerobic activity in particular stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a compound that helps protect existing neurons and encourages the growth of new ones. The simple act of walking daily can act as both physical and mental training, reinforcing the reality that the body and mind cannot be separated when it comes to overall health. Sleep is another critical factor in protecting cognitive function. During sleep, the brain does not rest idly. It is highly active, consolidating memories, processing information, and clearing out toxins that accumulate during the day. Without sufficient restorative sleep, these processes are disrupted, leading to poor concentration. Impaired decision nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management are your most powerful anti-aging tools. And together they create a foundation that no medication or medical intervention can fully replace. The body is not built to thrive on quick fixes or temporary solutions. It is built to respond to consistent care and attention through these four pillars of lifestyle. Each one of them influences every system in the body, and when practiced together, they amplify one another to slow the aging process, repair damage, and protect against decline. What makes them so powerful is not that they are complicated or inaccessible, but that they are simple, daily choices that accumulate over time, giving anyone the ability to shape the course of their health. Nutrition forms a cornerstone of this. Every single bite of food delivers either nourishment or harm, and the effects go far beyond temporary energy or satisfaction. Food influences hormones, inflammation, metabolism, and even the way genes are expressed. A diet built on whole foods, rich in vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, and high-quality proteins provides the body with the raw materials needed to repair and regenerate. Fiber from plants supports the gut microbiome, which in turn regulates immunity and brain health. Antioxidants protect cells from oxidative stress, a key driver of aging. Healthy fats strengthen cell membranes and support brain function. By contrast, processed foods loaded with sugars, trans fats, and artificial additives speed up cellular aging, weaken immunity, and pave the way for chronic disease. Choosing to eat for health rather than convenience becomes one of the most powerful levers for extending both lifespan and healthspan. Movement is equally essential, and it is not limited to structured exercise routines, but includes all the ways the body is kept active throughout the day. Muscles and bones remain strong only when challenged. The heart stays efficient only when trained. Balance and coordination are preserved only when regularly practiced. Physical activity stimulates circulation, delivering nutrients and oxygen more effectively to every organ. It helps regulate blood sugar, reducing the risk of diabetes, and it lowers inflammation, a key driver of many age-related conditions. Just as importantly, movement influences mood and mental clarity by releasing neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. Regular exercise does not require a gym membership or extreme effort. Walking, stretching, dancing, or gardening all contribute to a healthier and younger body. Over time, the cumulative effect of daily movement is a body that functions decades younger than its chronological age. Sleep, often overlooked, is a non-negotiable part of healthy aging. It is during deep and restful sleep that the body carries out critical processes of repair and renewal. The brain clears out toxins and consolidates memories. Hormones that regulate appetite and metabolism are balanced. Muscles and tissues recover from the wear of the day. Chronic sleep deprivation accelerates aging in nearly every system, increasing the risk of cognitive decline, heart disease, obesity, and weakened immunity. Protecting sleep by maintaining a consistent routine, reducing exposure to screens before bed, and creating a calm environment is not indulgence but a form of medicine. Quality sleep is as essential as nutrition and exercise, and its absence cannot be ignored without serious long-term consequences. Stress management completes this framework because even the best nutrition, exercise, and sleep habits can be undermined by the constant strain of unmanaged stress. Chronic stress keeps the body in a state of high alert, releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that are meant for short bursts of danger, not long-term living. When these stress responses are triggered day after day, they erode the immune system, disrupt digestion, raise blood pressure, and impair memory. Stress accelerates cellular aging by shortening telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of chromosomes. Learning to manage stress through practices like mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, or even simple hobbies creates space for the body to relax, repair, and reset. It is not about eliminating stress altogether, since challenges are an inevitable part of life, but about building resilience so that stress does not take a permanent toll. When these four elements work together, they create a powerful synergy that no single intervention can match. Eating well fuels the body for movement. Movement improves the quality of sleep. Sleep enhances resilience against stress. Stress management reduces cravings for unhealthy food and supports consistent exercise. Each pillar strengthens the others, forming a cycle of protection and renewal that slows the effects of aging. What makes this approach extraordinary is its accessibility. No matter where a person begins, even small improvements in these areas can lead to measurable benefits. The body responds quickly to better choices, and over time, those choices compound into decades of added vitality. The truth is that the body already has the tools to fight aging, but those tools must be supported through lifestyle. Pills, supplements, and treatments may offer temporary boosts, but they cannot replace the daily rhythm of good nutrition, consistent movement, restful sleep, and stress resilience. These are not luxuries, they are essentials. They are the difference between simply surviving the years and thriving through them. By honoring these four pillars, anyone can slow the passage of time in their body and mind, proving that aging well is not an accident but a deliberate achievement. The habits you build now determine whether you'll merely survive or truly thrive in later life, and this reality should serve as a call to action for anyone who wants to shape their future rather than leave it to chance. 20 years may feel like a long stretch of time, but in the span of a lifetime, it is only a window, and what is done within that window can completely change the trajectory of health and well-being. Aging is not a sudden cliff that people fall off at 70 or 80. It is the result of thousands of days, millions of choices, and the accumulation of patterns that either nourish or deplete the body and mind. Every habit practice consistently becomes a brick in the foundation of the future, either one that supports vitality or one that leads to fragility. The power lies in recognizing that the future is not set in stone, and by acting today, the years ahead can be transformed from mere existence into decades of thriving. Survival in later life often means relying on medications, managing chronic conditions, and enduring physical or cognitive decline that restricts independence. Thriving, on the other hand, means preserving the ability to move freely, think clearly, and engage fully with the world. It means being able to travel, enjoy relationships, pursue passions, and contribute meaningfully to family and community. The difference between these two paths often comes down to choices made long before old age arrives. Habits such as nourishing the body with whole foods, staying physically active, getting restorative sleep, and managing stress may seem small in the moment, but their cumulative effect is immense. Over 20 years, these habits can strengthen the heart, preserve the brain, maintain mobility, and protect against diseases that strip away quality of life. Consider the act of daily movement. Someone who chooses to walk, stretch, or exercise consistently for the next 20 years is not just maintaining fitness in the present. They are protecting bone density, preventing muscle loss, and strengthening the cardiovascular system in ways that will make a profound difference at 70 or profound difference 80. Similarly, someone who prioritizes nutrient-rich meals over processed foods is not simply satisfying hunger, but reducing inflammation, regulating metabolism, and creating the conditions for cellular repair. The dividends of these habits are not always visible in days or weeks, but over decades they create a body that functions as if it were years younger than its chronological age. The brain, too, responds to habits built over time. Regular mental stimulation, curiosity, and learning act as training for the mind, just as exercise strengthens the body. Over 20 years, engaging in reading, solving problems, or acquiring new skills can preserve neural connections and even build new ones, offering protection against cognitive decline. Paired with good sleep, which clears toxins from the brain and consolidates memory. These habits ensure that thriving in later life includes not only physical independence, but also clarity of thought and emotional stability. Habits practiced today become the invisible shield that guards the brain from the erosion of time. Stress, if unmanaged, acts like a slow poison that undermines both survival and thriving. 20 years of chronic stress leaves scars that cannot easily be erased, weakening immunity, straining the heart, and exhausting the mind. But 20 years of learning to pause, breathe, reflect, and find balance creates resilience that carries through life's inevitable challenges. Thriving does not mean living free of difficulties, but rather building the strength to navigate them without losing health or joy. Habits of calm, gratitude, and presence can transform the way the body responds to stress, turning what could be a destructive force into an opportunity for growth. What is often underestimated is the compounding effect of habits. Just as financial investments grow over time, the habits built today accumulate interest in the body and mind. Skipping one healthy meal or missing one workout will not define a future, but repeating those patterns for 20 years will. Likewise, choosing health supporting behaviors consistently, even imperfectly, creates momentum that shapes the future. Every step, every choice, every routine is a deposit in the account of thriving years. When viewed this way, 20 years is not just a deadline, but an opportunity, a span of time long enough to transform almost any trajectory of health, no matter where one begins. The question then becomes not whether aging will happen, because it will, but whether it will be accompanied by vitality or by decline. Habits practice now answer that question long before the later. Those who invest in themselves daily often reach older age with bodies that move gracefully, minds that remain sharp, and spirits that stay engaged. They do not simply survive the years, they thrive within them, often defying expectations of what is possible at their age. This thriving is not a miracle or an accident, but the predictable outcome of choices made consistently across the span of decades. To see 20 years as a gift rather than a threat is to recognize that the present holds immense power over the future. It is a chance to rewrite the story of aging, to step into later life not as a passive recipient of decline, but as an active participant in vitality. The habits you choose now echo into the decades ahead, shaping whether you will spend those years dependent on others or fully engaged in life. In the end, thriving is not about escaping aging, but about mastering it. And the path to mastery begins with the choices made today.